Welcome to the future of space. I'm your host, Daniel Fox. Today we have Timo Mustonen. Timo is the founder of the Sustainable Space Economy platform, which was recently launched at the Paris Space Week. I'm looking forward to learn more about that. He is the CFO of Aurora Propulsion Technologies and has been recognized by LinkedIn as top 10 men to follow in aerospace. Timo, welcome to the future space.
And Daniel, great pleasure to be here today.
Looking forward to learning more about your project that you launched at Space Weeks. But before we get there, can you share with us three words to describe space?
I would say beautiful, silence, and future. That those words come to my mind. Beautiful, silence, and future.
And how did you interest in space started at a really young age, or did it come later? Can you tell us a little bit about the journey of Timo from high school or as a child looking up to the stars to the CFO that you are and the space advocate that you are today?
Well, everything started from that I was born in eastern of Finland, 30 kilometers from Russian border. And when it was very, very cold winter night, minus 35 Celsius degrees, you went outside and the stars were blinking. And then I discussed with my father that, hey, what is that star there? What is that star there? And it was, you had this peaceful moment when it was very cold, you were able to hear everything, but still it was so calm. You were able to enjoy the bright stars. So there's the first connection that I had. Then I was enjoying that for a while, continuing doing that. And then actually 3 years ago, my old colleague from Nokia called me that, hey, they are setting up a space company called Aurora Propulsion Technologies. And they wanted to know if I'm excited about that. And then I was thinking, what are you really doing? And they would say that we are doing engines for the small satellites and doing this and this. And I was like, it sounds really, really cool. I want to be part of that. And that's how everything started.
And how do you feel? I mean, your background, you worked at Nokia for a long time, and now you work within the space industry. What is
Mhm.
attractive to the space industry? What is the general mood of the community of the people? I mean, you were at Space Week, recently. What makes you get up excited in the morning and get into the space business?
I think it's new. It's fascinating. Every time when you mention that you are working with the space company, it's like, what are you doing? It must be super exciting, super difficult. It's high quality and everything like that. But in real life, it's not. So, for example, our thrusters are using steam engines. So, and that was invented ages and ages ago. So it's not modern technology after all. It's something simple, but people feel that hey, it's super exciting. It's something super new.
And how is the space community in Finland? Is it? I'm pretty sure a lot of people know each other, but
Mhm.
the from no, Finland, obviously, Nokia was a predominant employer and figure in the economy of Finland, and now as space is opening up, what's the situation in Finland?
So actually, maybe people don't know, but this new space ecosystem is very active in Finland, and there are several new space companies very close to each other in Espoo area in Finland, very close to Helsinki. And people might know this brightest star that we have, Ice Eye. They have collected huge amount of money, and they are very public. And Aura's office is only 10 minutes walk away from Ice Eye. And then there are other space companies in the same building. But those are mostly uh, new space companies and building the future and following Ice Eye. Ice Eye has been doing great work.
And beyond, just before we get into the your new project, beyond the technology and the science, obviously, that going to space will bring,
Mhm.
what is for you the human story of going to space? What does it? Why does it matter to us and to our relationship with the planet?
So I would say that why wouldn't we go to space? So people have always exploring new things and try to find new countries and areas. And it's like a natural continuation that we get to the space and start learning things from there and understand how to benefit, how to get benefits to all of us on Earth.
If you had the chance to go to the space station, to the moon, or even a trip to Mars, would you take it?
Well, good question. I have been earlier thinking that I'm too old there, but I would love to be there. And when the astronauts have been telling that how beautiful Earth is from space, and they never forget it. So I would like to experience all this silence, beautiful things, and see the Earth from space. That would be my dream, but maybe I'm too old.
Well, I think that's one of the beauty of traveling, or even going to, taking the plane, is giving you a perspective, seeing things within the context,
Mm,
and seeing the Earth within the context of the universe, seeing the blackness,
mm,
of space, and the brightness and the liveliness of the Earth, then reminds you of the scarcity and the specialness that we have on Earth. And a
mm,
lot of people, from Frank White, who coined the overview effect, but a lot of people experience this preciousness of the planet, and when they come back, their relationship is really changed. So just for the importance of really reconnecting with the planet, I think anybody should go. Everybody should go, at least, experience what it is to see the planet Earth from space.
yeah. And actually understanding that how small we are. So we are, when you are on Earth, you feel that hey, everything is very far away, and if you want to travel to Africa or US or everywhere, it's so far away. But then when you get to the space and you say and see a planet called Earth there, it's so small, and you think totally differently after that.
It is. I mean, going to nature for me, every time I've done these solo wilderness, expeditions, going into the wilderness is an exercise of humility and perspective. You're reminded of these nature forces that are bigger than you. I mean, as much as we think of ourselves as
Mm,
capable of controlling them, we can only play with them. We can kind of direct them a little bit, but we cannot control
mm,
them. And going to space, you recognize, like, oh my God, life is happening on such a bigger level. And if we don't take care
mm,
of the planet, it's much at our loss. I mean, the planet will take some time to recuperate, but it has gone through like so much worse,
mm,
and we're just this tiny little. I mean, we're extremely important because we're the only species who's about to take life outside of the planet. But at the same time, in the big scheme of
mm,
evolution, we're just this tiny little part in the big puzzle. So yes, it is absolutely humbling, to go and to be reminded of these things that are bigger than us. So your father was a instrumental, actor in your love of the stars when you were young.
mm. Yeah, exactly. So, and I hope that I can be the similar kind of person to my daughters, 17 and 12 years old daughters. And when I'm thinking about their future, I think that how I was working with my father, seeing the stars, and then thinking about how beautiful everything is. So I would like to have similar kind of future to my children as well.
Well, I'm pretty sure your daughter would agree. Her father is one of the top 10 men on LinkedIn, recognized, for the aerospace. So I'm pretty sure you're doing a good job at home.
Thank you for the nice words.
Timo, you were at Paris Space Week recently, and you
Yeah.
launched your new project. Can you share with us, what it is and what you're aiming to achieve?
Okay, so the platform is called Sustainable Space Economy. And what I want to tell a little bit background, how I ended up to setting this up, because it's about my values, it's about my heart, and it's about future generations. So that time when I was young, living in the eastern of Finland, I felt that the skies were so bright in the evening. Summer was warm, winter was right, minus 25 Celsius degrees, and you enjoy the brightness of and beautiness and cleanness of the things. And I think people were also happier that time. And now when I'm looking around myself, I can see COVID, I can see global warming. I think people are not that happy anymore. There's more pollution than we had when I was young. And I have started to think, hey, what kind of heritage I want to give to my daughters? And since I have been working earlier with Nokia, I know how to make things happening. People call it smile whip. Uh, Nokia was my second university, so I was working with the supply chain, R&D, product marketing, internal accelerator, and so on. And I never had possibility to have own people working for me directly. And my bosses told me, hey, Timo, you need to have a story. And when people follow your story, you will get the resources and funding and the people. And I practiced this storytelling for uh, 15 years. And I that was a really my second university. I learned how to do it. And I call myself neo-generalist. So I know how the company work, how different persons work in their own silos, and how to make them work together. So that's one part. And the second part is now when working for 3 years at Aurora Propulsion Technologies, a different kind of university again. And I started to put the building blocks together that, hey, Aurora is providing technology for sustainable use of space, water-based thrusters and plasma brake. But then the question is that Aurora is not able to save the world and save the space alone. So it's much, much bigger phenomenon. There are space launchers, there are space lawyers, there are component manufacturers, and so on. So I want to bring all these different stakeholders together and have much bigger vision. And combining this storytelling, getting people involved, having experience about space, feeling in my heart that I want to make things better for the future generations, that all this came together when I was thinking what I really want to contribute to the future. And then I said, hey, it's sustainable space economy because it brings together Earth and space and the values that I have and the feeling that I have in my heart. So that was the background for this. It's simply called sustainable space economy. And like you said, I had this privilege to launch it in collaboration with Paris Space Week on 14th of March this year. And they wanted to say that they also want to show leadership in this sustainable space economy. So I'm very happy about that.
So how is it going to work? Is it going to be like an online platform, or is it an event, or what is the logistic around the sustainable space economy?
Okay, so it has three pillars. So the first one is communication. That's what I'm doing also today. So I want the people understand that the sustainable use of space is very important. And very many of my friends are saying, hey, Timo, you are talking about things that will happen in 10 years' time. But I've said, hey, if I start talking about those and sharing information and rewarding the companies that are already doing something towards sustainable use of space, things will speed up. So I want to start from this communication and getting people aware of what we are doing and want to make people proactive so that we are doing things proactively and not waiting that when we already have the disaster like space debris. Second pillar of this platform is that when companies start thinking that, hey, we should be doing something with sustainability and really doing something and not just talking like blah, 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 blah. So, and very many companies are easily talking about sustainability. But when I say, hey, where's your strategy? What do you really want to do? They say, well, we don't know exactly, but we are doing this and that and there. So this platform is helping together with my partners to educate them train them, having the process management uh, pro- uh, options, then strategy facilitation, and that kind of consultancy services to help them to grow and understand better how they can contribute. But this is not enough. I have also this third pillar. I want that companies start to work together and they are solving problems like zero carbon in space, recycling in space, so that, for example, talking about this zero carbon, we cover upstream and downstream. So starting from the thing that when you start building the satellites, what are the materials that you are using? Where those materials come from? How you launch your satellite? Are you using then, for example, deorbiting for your satellite or not? And when there are companies buying the data from your constellation, they will be sooner or later asking that how green the data is, what they get. And think about companies that are non-space companies at the moment, and they want to get to the space. They want to get this data and analyze it and provide better services. So they have already this heritage from Earth to talk about sustainability. And when they get to the space, they will start requesting that, hey, I want to know how sustainable your things are, because they don't want to say that yes, on Earth we talk about sustainability, we take it seriously, but then when you get to the space, then you forget everything. So those were the three pillars: having communication, understanding what individual companies can be doing, and then the third one is how we can collaborate together. And I want to involve all the space stakeholders, not only single companies. So when talking about Aurora propulsion technologies, Aurora is a component supplier, but there are so many other stakeholders there. And I want to bring all together, starting from ESA, NASA, space launchers, and so on. So it's a collaboration finally, and this sustainable space economy will be the most impactful platform to make impact in the sustainable use of space.
Now, so, some people will obviously understand what is the definition of sustainability on Earth, the carbon footprint, having the impact on a local community. But when it comes to space, what is really the definition of something of a sustainable economy once you're in orbit or on the moon or on Mars? What would be that definition?
I think that plenty of things are still developing, and it's a good question. I think that I have difficulties to answer that question, so I apologize that part.
No worries. It's I think it's important, obviously, that these as we go to space, to keep in mind of
Mhm.
the complexities of our relationship with our environment. That it's just not a one way relationship where we can take everything. Obviously, now we have the understanding that in space there is going to be a lot of traffic and a lot of debris, and we have companies like privateers who's going to really looking into the collecting of that and going to the moon. Obviously, there's going to be some ethics and new questions, being asked. So I guess from your perspective, being sustainable is just understanding that we have a relationship with the environment, whether that environment is the planet, the orbit, the moon, or Mars, and we have to understand the reciprocity in that relationship. Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, very correct. And I'm happy that you even mentioned this Mars or maybe Jupiter or so on. So that it's not only about just talking about space, but we will be reaching to the different planets as well. So we need to take that into account as well. So I have this long-term perspective there. But I'm fully aligned with you.
And what? So you mentioned earlier about the importance of storytelling. Um, a lot of the
Mhm.
issues that we have right now is precisely about the story that we've created about the human species and going to space. A lot of people think that the human
Mhm.
species is not a really good species, while others think that, uh, and I personally think that life is created in a way that unfortunately is a little bit messy and complicated. Every species
mm,
has by default will push their environment to the bound to the extreme because we're
mm,
life expands and grows until it finds a limit and then it has to figure out how to move forward. That's how life evolved from single
mm,
cell to these complicated beings that we are right now. Now
mm,
we're at the stage that we've reached the capacity of the planet, and that is forcing us to reassess how we want to move forward, but it's also giving the incentive to people to go and seek beyond and to push the limits of what is possible. What is your from your point of view, what is the change of perspective with the storytelling about us on the planet, but also going to space? How important is it to change that story?
it's extremely important to change it. But then the question is that how to change it and how difficult it is to change. And uh, people are easily asked, hey, where's the beef? Where's the business case? Why we should be doing this? So I want to avoid talking about business case. I want to talk about values and about your heart. And Daniel, I believe that you have children in your neighborhood and you know about children. And what is your feeling in your heart? What kind of heritage you would like to give to the people, those young people? So, question to you actually.
No, I think that the part of what I understand is in people's heart is obviously there's a feeling of abandonment. You know, people don't, they want to feel heard and connected. And I think that right now in the world,
Hmm,
it's been complicated for people to understand their place in this globalization.
hmm,
They see a lot of people with a lot of success, and then they see themselves, kind of losing or not understanding how um, to put food on the table. And ultimately, this is one of
hmm,
the things I've always enjoyed in my travels is that I love to sit at the tables of my guests and hear their stories. And you realize that everybody
hmm,
at the core of it, at the beginning, everybody is concerned about putting food on the table, sending their children to school, and then after that, things get a little bit
hmm,
complicated. And climate change is obviously bring a certain is threatening this capacity that they have, and also going to space for
hmm,
some is making them feel like, okay, the people that can't afford it will go away while we're stuck behind having to deal with it.
hmm,
So the story that needs to be told is not really just about science and technology, but it's about reassuring that it's for the benefit, it's going to be helping
hmm,
everyone so that everyone can connect and participate. And I think
hmm,
that's one I've said often that that was one of the failures of the environmental movement because they made the story of climate change about saving a planet rather than saving ourselves.
hmm,
And
hmm,
everybody, most of the people, would love to save the planet, but they're more concerned about saving their own family. And if they have to choose between
hmm,
doing the right thing for the planet or doing the right thing for their family, they will do the right thing for the family. And unfortunately, right now in our
hmm,
society, sometimes doing the right thing for your family is not necessarily the right thing for the planet because of the
hmm,
economics and the fact that doing the less expensive solution that you have to you is not necessarily the best one. So it's
hmm,
understanding that people don't do things specifically to be bad or to destroy the environment. They try to do things with the capacity
hmm,
that they have right now. So the story
hmm,
really has to be about us, our own decision of how we choose to move forward
hmm,
and connecting to the ones who feel left behind and not heard. So this is what I've done with nature also. Nature. How can you tell
hmm,
people to stop growing when growth is an inherent reality of life. You need to give them an idea of how to grow, maybe not just in a linear way, but in a more holistic way, understanding, the Japanese have the Yutori. I know that Elizabeth Railworth has the donut economic model. There's different models of growth that are more sustainable. um, so it's really
Mhm.
important to shift. And I recently wrote that recently about the necessity for creative storytelling and telling the human story of going to space.
Mhm.
Do you want to add anything?
Well, when I was listening to you, I had the feeling that I have known you for years. You are like my soulmate. And about this sustainable space economy, I want to point out one specific thing. So, very important part is this sustainability, and we need to understand that it's defined with three things. So, one is this social, environmental, and economic part. And when I'm thinking about my friends, I have plenty of friends in LinkedIn, and I want to chat with all of those. And let's say that somebody is living in Pakistan or wherever. I want to see that people must be equal. If it's about the space, how to benefit from space, how to learn things, new things from space, or to get warm food to the table every day. So people should be much more equal. And I'm worrying that with the space race, we are talking about that, hey, poor people there and there will get connection to the internet and so on and so on. But I still have the fear that those can be nice words. And then there's always finally the business case, that if there's a business case, it will be done. So, but I would like to get to the level that people think with their heart much more and think that, hey, what is benefiting all of us and making all of us happier? And just think about it. If every person is happy on earth, so even the earth would be doing much better. That's my vision. Of course, there's everybody can disagree and say, Timo, you are just over optimistic and you are thinking like that. But I have to believe that if you can dream it, you can do it. So never stop dreaming about things.
Absolutely. And never stop looking up to the stars, because dreams come from the stars, and we have to make sure that people
Mhm.
are able to experience a night sky, saturated with stars. Because obviously, living in cities, you start to forget that there's even, this world of unlimited, the possibilities when you look up. um, and there's obviously, you can experience that by going into a planetarium and having a star show, but it doesn't
Mhm.
change, it will never replace this visceral experience of finding yourself in the middle of nowhere and looking up and seeing the scale of it, and understanding that every star has a world, and there are millions and then there are billions of it.
So when I was that young and I went outside with my daddy and see the stars, I remember that that time I saw some stars flying, and then when those were flying, you were able to make a hope that hey, I wish this and this. And I remember that time when I was young, I was wishing this and this and that. And now when I think about my past, and now when I go outside, I don't see this space in the same way anymore. So I can see the stars flying, and I'm not making hopes that I want to make this and this happening. So I would like to experience that myself and with my daughters, getting to the outside, having total darkness, no any lights, no any cars, and you can hear the silence and you can see stars flying, and then you start saying, "Hey, I hope that this and this will be true." So something very simple. And I believe that when you have been traveling a lot and you have been experienced a lot, so maybe you have been somewhere in the desert, for example, and seeing the stars flying, it must have been very unique experience for you as well.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's the finding the right balance between technology and getting the innovation, yeah, as a society growing, but at the same time, um, protecting a different kind of relationship with the world. We could say that one, there's a conflict there. Obviously, we want the conveniency. Nobody wants to go back to how things were 500 years ago. There is a lot
Mhm.
of develop. I mean, we live in the world today of amazing opportunities. Yes, we have challenges, but we have a science and technology that is offering a lot of benefits. And unfortunately, it's connected with this growth and this rise of innovation. Going back in time to the way things were 500 years ago is at the expense of losing all
Mhm.
the improvement that we've done, then there's no point. But how can we move forward by continuing our capacity to innovate, but at the same time by protecting and taking care of a world that can be experienced, that is not necessarily about innovation, but it's about experiencing the simplicity and the essence of nature and of life. What do you think?
Well, actually, very good point. Uh, what I was thinking when you were talking, that if I had a time machine, I would like to go backwards, let's say uh, 30 years, and live for a moment in that time and experience that, hey, this and this is not working, no mobile phones, maybe not that many computers either, and then come back to the current moment and start understanding that, hey, how good things are at the moment, and we shouldn't be complaining and trying to get all the time more and more. So I guess that could be a good learning journey to get to the past for a week and then come back and say, hey, actually things are very, very good, and I'm not requiring that much more.
Do you actually think that time travel is a? I always have trouble when I watch movies. The logistic and the mathematic reality of time travel. Do you think there will be a day where it's possible?
I hope so. My young daughter is talking about that, so that she's dreaming about that. That will happen. But when I was talking about getting to the past and starting to understand things better and evaluating things better, but how about if we could fly to the future and see what is happening, how we destroyed everything? We maybe moved to the space because we were not able to live on Earth anymore. So I would like to do that to the different direction as well, and understanding and showing that, hey, this will happen, and I know that with my sustainable space economy platform, I will make this time shift. And how it's going to work, we have all the digital possibilities to make videos, for example, and show how we destroy the Earth and so on. So I can show together with space students, for example, and other young people. So hey, this is the one thing that can happen. Do you want this to happen? It's not real thing, but at least it can wake up people thinking that, hey, what about if that really happens? If satellites are hitting the Brussels one day and destroying everything there. So think about that. Or if the war gets to space and countries start fighting against each other in space, are they going to destroy the space and things on Earth as well? So what are the things that we want to have in the future? And I want to see that people really uh, are awake and start talking about it. So with my platform, this communication part, so I want to have it totally different kind of communication, not only sharing information, but using even guerrilla marketing to get the message through.
Do you think that one of the well, so two things: the level of conversation that you're aiming to achieve with the sustainable space economy is a certain maturity. Um, and I think that as a human civilizations, we're getting more mature, slowly, gradually. Um,
Hopefully, hopefully.
well, we're still the youngest species in evolution. We're like the teenager who believes that needs to prove itself that we can exist, and it's through the challenges and sometimes often the pain that we get the humility. Because I do believe, like in Europe, there's a history of loss and tragedies and wars, and which has created a different set of
Mm,
values. It's you
mm,
don't work is really just not just priority number one at the center. Your quality of life, food is really important. You need to
mm,
gather around the table. In America, it's more about other values, economic values or professional values. But it's like when you're a teenager and then you get in teenagers more that black and white energy that you need to start a business or to create that place in
mm,
life. And then as you get into your as an adult and then you've experienced a couple of failures, you start to see the world in more grays and your values are different. But ultimately you
mm,
want to you want to live in a society where you have a little bit of balance between the elders and the youngsters, so that you have the
mm.
wisdom with that go getting energy. You were talking about your daughter earlier. She's 12 years old.
Mm.
Um,
And the older one is 17.
oh, and then the other one's 17. So
Yeah.
two daughters, 12 and 17. Are they both excited about? I, there's a lot of stress and anxiety put on the younger generation right now. I see it, I feel it in the way that they communicate with
Mm.
me and the way that they see the future. Is it the same for you children, or have you been able to frame the story in the way that they feel that they have a capacity to change it, and they're excited about moving forward?
So I have the feeling that I notice how stressed they are and how early they need to make all the decisions. But they are not thinking in the same way. They feel the pressure in better way. But and when I look at my daughters, they are very positive people. They are said, "Hey, everything will work. Everything will happen. There will be bright future for them." But and I'm extremely happy to see that how they feel about things. So they are not too stressed yet. But I'm still worried about that. When I was young, 40 years ago, uh, uh, I was extremely happy. I didn't know all the things what is happening uh, everywhere. But now, when you think about young people or older people right now, everything happens very close to you. If something happens in Ukraine, you will hear about that in 1 minute. So everything is smaller, and you know all those war news and everything in your daily life. And but then when I was young, I didn't have that pressure and all this information flow around me. So I hope that our young generations remember that they don't need to be every time involved in the news and thinking about everything, and they are able to focus on their own things, what they want to do, and what are the things that make them happy.
Do you think it's one of the unfortunate realities of some of these advantages that we're getting in our society? Our society is becoming more complex. The tools that are giving to us is forcing
Mhm.
us to spend more time in developing the skills. And unfortunately, in the past, we've chosen to not spend the energy in developing the tools. Rather, because of economic reasons, we're focused more on getting the benefits at any cost rather than really think of the impact of it.
Mm.
Obviously, the information, I look at the younger generation having to deal with filtering all this information that is coming to them. And a lot of information is not really good
Mm.
information, and the burden is left on them to figure out what is real and what is not real, and how does it affect my future. Um, so I guess part as a parent in this culture is to making sure that your children have the right skills and tools to
Mm.
navigate this complex world. Correct?
Yeah, and once again, I fully agree with you. But then I guess one of the challenges is that the parents feel the pressure also more and more, and they don't have the time to understand how the young people are doing. And it's easy to leave them alone. They come home alone. Parents come back from the office very late in the evening. They continue working from home, and the young people are left alone. And somehow the feeling is that, hey, when they get to school, teachers will take care of the children. But that's teachers. Uh, Being a parent is totally different.
Now back to the space sustainable space economy. What was the reaction shortly in the at the Paris Space Week from the European Space Agency and all the people that you spoke to?
Well, I was extremely happy about the feedback. So there were very many people approaching me and saying, "Hey, Timo, now is the right time to talk about this. You are talking about right things. Seems that you have been using time to think about how this works. You have built the storyline." And especially, I was able to see that when I was asking about if you have children or grandchildren and what kind of heritage you want to give to them. So it made a very good impact to the people. And during Paris Space Week, nobody came to me and asked about the business case. So I was extremely happy about that. So they were saying, "Hey, you are doing right things." And people came to me and said, "I want to do something with you. Let's have a discussion after Paris Space Week." And I was able to see that the passion there. And maybe it was because the event it had different kind of people visiting Paris Space Week, but it was like getting the home and with all the organizers when we're talking about this sustainability. It was just so easy discussion. So extremely happy about this what happened in Paris.
Nice, wonderful to hear. Now, if people want to learn more about the story of the sustainable space economy and learn more about the platform and the people that are involved and what are the plans, where do they go?
So first one, of course, I want to network with people in LinkedIn. So because it's my own initiative, and I want to be interactive with the people. So I want to be chatting. I don't want to have that. Hey, I have 15,000 followers, but I want to have right people. When people have their birthday, I want to have celebrate it together with them. Another place where to get is www sustainable-space-economy.com. It will be updated the website to hear the latest news from Paris, for example. Next week, there will be videos about Paris Space Week, about my presentation and photos. This video will be published there as well. And last but not least, there are different space events like ILA Berlin, Berlin Space Tech Expo, European Space Week, and so on. I will be presenting things about sustainable space economy there as well. And I know it's COVID time and you are not able to reach and meet people face to face. But if anybody wants to talk about partnership or collaboration or just has the feeling that I have something in my heart, I want to talk about it, ping me in LinkedIn. That's the easiest way to find myself. Let's have a Zoom. I always have time in the evening or weekend to talk about important things. So I really want to contribute together with the others. Uh, and about this initiative, I don't want that people say that Timo was starting this, Timo was doing this and that, but I want to see that we were doing things together. So remember, we and collaboration. And I would like to more this storytelling person, orchestra leader, and empowering the others. And when I'm away, people can be saying that, hey, daddy did something great. He started this together with the others. And things at least didn't get worse. And I'm remembered for the good things.
Well, I'm pretty sure that your daughters are proud and will be proud of what you've achieved. We'll make sure that the links are, I mean, for your LinkedIn profile and for the your platform are in the description or the comments, so that people can have a look.
Mm.
Um, I think I might be in Paris later this year for the. So we'll make sure to get together. And if you do come to America, which I hope you will, we'll find a way to for a path across. Timo, it was a pleasure discussing with you and learning about the sustainable space economy. Thank you so much for sharing with us this new project.
And Daniel, I would want to
Yep.
say thanks to you as well. Things that you were telling during the interview is showing that you have experienced very many things, and you have wise words. So it was a learning journey to me as well. So it was really pleasure to have this discussion with you, and I really want to continue discussion with you and collaboration. So thank you really for this moment with you.
No, thank you. And then the next time we'll make sure to sit down. We'll have a bottle of wine and we can have this conversation because so much conversation happens around food and wine. And I think that's the beauty of life. If you can have a table, you
Mm.
can have good friends, good conversations, good food, good wine. This is paradise for me. So we'll make
Yeah.
sure.
So this has been agreed now. So
Excellent. Timo, thank you so much. Have a good evening and we'll see you soon.
likewise, and thank you for this fantastic moment with you.